Tomorrow, we welcome back college football with open arms. And it got me thinking, why do I love this sport so much? What does it mean to me? I was raised in a football family. My father came from nothing and ended up being an All-American at Auburn, played in the NFL, and had a really nice coaching career. My first word was literally fumble. I remember him sitting me down in front of the TV when I was young and explaining the game to me, not just from a schematical standpoint, but also what it taught him, how it saved him, and how it could affect my life. I hung on to his every word. And when Auburn played, I hung on to every snap. My week was determined by how they did. And it was a bond that brought us as close together as you could possibly be. Now, we lost my father almost a decade ago, but those memories I still carry with me. Whenever I hit a low point or things aren't going my way, I remember how he used to explain sports to me, especially football, in a way that connected with life lessons. Football isn't just a game to me. It's a way of life. It's brought people together, mended broken relationships, and has helped taking people from poverty to success. Now, while I'm not defined by it, football has been my way of not only escaping, but finding myself as well. The brothers I've gained from the game will be lifelong friends. The moment I've garnered will last forever. So when that ball gets kicked off, it represents more than just a play call, more than just a score, and more than just the next big story. It represents a way of life. See, the game has given me more than I could ever give it back. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. I know it has affected many of you the same way. And in a vitriolic society that we live in today, there are very few havens where we can enjoy each other without judgment or assumption. So this Saturday, when you're around loved ones and friends, know you just aren't watching a game. You are watching a fabric of our DNA. For those that go to the game, take a second to look around. Enjoy the ability to be amongst friends and enemies. And remember, while the scoreboard doesn't define any of us, what happens in between can unite all of us. I'll never forget what my father told me. Son, the game will give you back what you give it. And that's all we could ever ask for. I love him and miss him every day. And I know he'll be watching, critiquing the linebacker play. And for those 4 quarters, we'll be together again, which is all I can ask for. So enjoy your weekend. What's up, Cone?
Man,
Good,
that was awesome, man.
Good, man.
No, but
Needed to be said.
for sure. I mean, it just, again, that's why, and guys like Mad Dog and those dudes a lot of those guys at ESPN, not all of them, they'll never understand. Like, that's why I get mad when you make a mockery of the game. And people say, oh, it's a game, and I get that, but it's not just a game. I could see how people could think that, but if you don't understand it, it's hard for me to explain it to you.
Especially if you grew up in one of these small towns.
That's exactly right. Where, it's like when we were talking the other day when Reed was like, do people watching Friday Night Lights, she's like, people really care about it this much? I'm like, yes, and even more. It's hard to explain unless you go through it and you understand it. So I'm excited as hell, and it's something too when we drop this newsletter that we're going to have people, send in stories of how games have brought them together. Whether it's, you met your wife at the game, or you met your husband at the game, or, people that were having problems came together during the game, or you met your best friend at the game, or you've been going to the game with your buddies since y'all were, 12 years old. So it's the best game in the world, in my opinion.
All I wanted to do was play college football growing up. Now, Florida State was my favorite team growing up, but it really, it didn't matter. I just wanted to play high-level college football, and even growing up in a town like Statesboro, where at that time Georgia Southern was a 1AA school, watching them win national championships with Irk Russell and the teams that they had, and watching the communal aspect of it. Ben Shapiro came on here and asked, why should I care more about college football than professional football? And there are a lot of guys who say, call me when the guys are pros. I'll check them out then. And I just think that with this small town feel and the communal aspect of college football, that's what makes it so special to places like Auburn and Tuscaloosa and Knoxville and Ann Arbor and Athens and Statesboro. The big cities have theirs, right? The big cities have their pro team. They have everything. New York and LA and Chicago, and that's great. And they have plenty of other stuff to do. And I hope that with the TV markets the way they are, that doesn't ruin college football in a way that the ticket gates no longer matter and you don't have to actually go to games anymore. But I love what you said. I'm glad that you said it, and we have college football this Saturday.
I'm jacked.
Oh, I'm super jacked and tan about it, guys. It's finally here. And football means to me, in high school, man, after everything that happened in high school, it was really all I had. you know. And the one thing I love about football is it doesn't matter if you're white, black, yellow, purple, green, where you're from America, from the South, from the West, from the East. You know, you all come together and you believe in one thing, and you believe in something that's not guaranteed, and that's winning. Right? You're never guaranteed winning, no matter how hard you work. Sometimes you'll never come out with a W in that situation, but just to go on a journey and a path with people who all believe in the same thing, and you know, to play. You know, I really didn't get to play for my dad as much as I wanted to, well, in front of him, but just to, you know, you always get held up to that expectations, whether he's there or not. You try to live and learn to a certain extent, and you know, man, it's hard to put my fingers on the right words to really tell you how much this game means to me. I mean, it's a life I chose, to playing in college, to coaching, and it's just special, man. And that was a great monologue. But in the words of my dad, son, catch the damn ball.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's something too. You know, we talk about it teaching you life, and you know, he used to say all the time what Pat Dye at Auburn used to tell him. It's like, you know, we're not getting you up early in the morning and rolling you and running you and getting on you and making you go through 4 days to win a football game. That's a side effect of it.
Yeah.
We're doing it so when you have a wife and kids and a mortgage and a car payment and electric and a water bill and daycare, and that alarm clock rings at 6:30 in the morning, you get your ass up and go to work.
4 in the morning now.
Yeah, you get up and go to work, because that's what it teaches you. And I think that's something nowadays that we've kind of let, and that's male or female, you know, it's
and you don't realize that when they're doing it.
Yeah, you don't realialize that when you're doing
you're
it.
Trying
you know,
to win
it brings
the game.
you together. That's the thing, you know, the having to get up and struggle like that. But going through that struggle, I don't think we're so quick nowadays to try and take every little bit of adversity away from people. And when you do that, you weaken them to a point. It's like lifting weights. The more I go in there and lift, the stronger I'm gonna get. Well, the more I have to struggle, and I'm not saying you make everything as hard as possible, but the more I have to overcome, the stronger mentally and the stronger my will gets, the stronger I become as a person. They always say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I love that. I love that saying. And that's what it does. And there's other aspects of life that do that as well. I mean, I had buddies I grew up with that, you know, fathers weren't there. You know, I got mine for 21 years. A lot of my buddies didn't have them for 2 years. So, you know, going through those things, it's amazing. And then you do all this work to play your guaranteed 12 games.
I know.
You're guaranteed 12 Saturdays. That's it. But you know what? It's worth every penny.
Well, your dad was a great baseball player as well. That's what I find interesting. And was setting baseball
Got
records
drafted by the Reds out of high school.
Right? Before he went to Auburn. So what did he say in terms of the differentiation between the two sports and the life lessons? I mean, what was his philosophy on that?
Well, from a baseball standpoint, you know, not that baseball's easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's just such a totally different sport. A lot of the things in baseball were more fundamental, because it's an individual sport played on a team. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's an individual sport played on a team. You know, the physical contact obviously really isn't there, especially now. They don't let you run over the catch or anything like that. But it was very different. It was a lot more fundamental. Not that, you know, we didn't go over. I mean, I was 12 years old sitting down in front of the TV, and he was telling me, this is power. This is counter. This is what the linebacker's looking at. This is how you should read it. This is this route combination. That's just what we did. It's kind of like, you know, some dads, you know, do other stuff. You form bonds in many ways. That was the way that we bonded. When football was on TV, whether it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're watching it. And we used to, you know, get the TV trays out, sit in the living room. I mean, Blaine, you remember, and just watch games and just talk about it. And that was, I mean, it was just, again, something that those are some of my fondest memories. You know, and I don't even remember the score of half of them, but just, you know, having those conversations and joking around, or him, you know, laughing at a play call or something like that. Those are cool things to look back on.
No doubt, man.
But what's the Boots Club say, man?
Brian Bailey says, that's why Nebraska fans, first of all, a lot of credit for your monologue in here.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Thank you.
That's why Nebraska fans are so rabid. It's the only thing we have. It's something where we can compete on a national stage, but not so much lately, and it takes a lot of pride in our house.
That's exactly right. Because, again, you are attached. We always talk about, like, everybody's a fan of somebody. Like, we come on here and we're going to give you our non-biased view. But that doesn't mean I'm not I'm not secure with myself enough to tell you guys I'm a fan of somebody. Everybody roots for somebody. Anybody that tells you that's a liar or they're a reptilian. Like it's that's not how it works. So it's almost like in high school, you know? It's like on Friday Night Lights when he's like, it's your job to guard the city. Like, it's your job to guard the city. So whether it's Lincoln and like the state, it just gets to another level. Like, because even Auburn, not being the state school of Alabama, you still feel like you get in that national championship game, people from Alabama feel a certain way. You got to go out there and represent. Like, you represent all of us, whether you're from Lincoln or whether you're from anywhere in Nebraska. When Nebraska takes the field, they represent all of you. And in a sport that is so physical and a sport that is violent, that is one of the, and we're a very civilized society, even as crazy as it is. But there's just something primitive about watching people that decided, because Will Herring said it best, man. He said, I don't care if you're from the Smoky Mountains, North Dakota, or from Alabama. You chose to come here, and that makes us family. And families willing to fight for each other, and families willing to die for each other. And like that connection, it's so pure. Like that's why we want to fight for college football to stay college football, because you are the Athenians, man, in Athens. You are the Spartans from Sparta. Now that's nowadays going out to represent. So when you have that on your helmet and you go out and play, why do people get so mad about it? That's why. Why do people get in fights about it? That's why. Because it's a part of you. And that's what makes it beautiful. There's a beauty in it. That's why the highs are so high and the lows are so low, because every play puts a little bit in you and takes a little bit out of you. So, I mean, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like that content, go ahead and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, String in a Cup. As long as you're listening, we appreciate you. Go subscribe now. It's Cranic Company.